everyone, welcome to the Gauteng All-Star Games Netball Symposium. I'm Lebo Motswedi, chairing a very interesting conversation ahead of the 2023 Netball World Cup to be hosted by South Africa. And I do have some heavyweights, I did promise that, and we're going to be unpacking the preparations of Netball South Africa with regards to us hosting the world here in 2023. Remember, this all began, the Gauteng All-Stars, back in 2019, and then we introduced netball in 2020. Then COVID happened. So here we are online having those conversations. I'd like us to welcome the president of Netball South Africa, that is Cecilia Molokwane, who's joining us for our conversation today.
Hello, Lebo, and all the panelists. I'm happy to see the netballers. It's been a while that I've seen them. I'm happy to see the president of Gauteng. I'm happy to see the coach, the assistant coach of the Spar Proteas, and the Spar Protea player, Tina Mdau. I'm happy to be here and to share anything that I can share with the people to know and understand what's happening in the world of netball, the exciting world of netball.
Joining us today also is the president of Gauteng Netball, who is Rihanna Bezaden-Hout.
Hello, everybody. Hello, panelists. Great to see you, although it's first time online. Hopefully by tomorrow we would have seen in person, Tina Mdau. Yes, looking forward to this discussion. You know, exciting, absolutely exciting period of time.
And we also have Dumisani Chauke, the assistant coach of the Proteas, joining us today.
Hi, Lebo. Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon to all our viewers. Good afternoon, everybody.
And the Jaguars netball player, Tina Mdau.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Lebo. And it's great to be on a panel such as this with all these great ladies.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. The conversation is really going to be fantastic because we are talking about a big moment for Africa as a continent, South Africa as a country, the 2023 World Cup, and the impact that will have on Netball South Africa. Cecilia, if we can start with you, what would the impact of South Africa hosting the World Cup, Netball World Cup 2023 for Netball South Africa?
It's going to be a very huge impact. All of the ladies that are here can agree with me. It's going to change netball in the country, in the continent, and even how the world view us as Africans and as South Africans. It has to make changes, like we have to make sure that after the World Cup in 2023, netball is sustainable. Netball has a professional league that is running. Players cannot, wake up in the morning like Tina works now and go and play netball in the afternoon, but just play netball the whole day, the whole time, and do what she loves most. And not Dumisani to sit in her office as she's sitting right now to say, I'm working, and after that, I have to go and coach. If she wants to do coaching, she must do it full time and enjoy what she's doing. Rihanna sitting where she's sitting as an administrator like me, she must say, I'm administrating netball and I'm loving what I'm doing, and I'm doing it for the passion, and not only for the passion, but also as a source of income. Because at the end of the day, we also say, it's about income, it's about passion, but we forget that the passion also these days goes with an income, that people must have a living in what they're doing. So it must leave that legacy at schools. We must have more numbers in netball. We must have more viewership in netball. We must have more spectators. So the impact that it will have, and most importantly, more sponsorship, and most importantly, to make sure that everybody who didn't know that netball as a sporting code or as a federation exists wherever it is, and people are willing to go out of their houses. I pray God that COVID-19 will be gone at that time, that we can feel the city ICC with South Africans, with South African flags and South African colors, to make sure that we unite as a nation. Because after COVID-19, I don't think there's any other thing that can unite this country and give it hope like the 2023 Netball World Cup. So that's the one thing that will give the South Africans hope. And everybody I know will be rallying against the Spar Proteas.
True, Cecilia, you've touched on so many aspects of what we'll be unpacking. You touched on being involved in netball and not just as an afterthought. You need to be financially compensated as a player from China's perspective, an administrator and coach from Rihanna and Dumisani as well. And you also touched on the numbers that are expected to fill the various places that will be hosting some of those games. But let's get in Rihanna here from a Gauteng's perspective in terms of what you'd like to see from being the president of Gauteng Netball's perspective, what you'd like to see the impact of Netball World Cup be.
I want to, Netball South Africa has got a vision for their legacy plan for 2023 to make netball fashionable. In Gauteng, we want to make it fashionable. The dad, the father of the youngster must know the rules. He must know what to look out for. He must be so passionate. He must put his rugby and his football aside, and he must support his young girl in her dream to play netball. He must know everything about the sport. As well as, everybody out there, they must know the rules. We've started already opening it up to the people. What is the selector looking for when they look at your child? To educate the people. And yes, leave that bit of legacy going forward. When they all hit that World Cup 2023, everybody in front of the TV at the ICC, in front of the big screens must know the rules. They must know the players. They must know who to cheer for. And after that, netball must be a brand name. It must be a household brand name. It must be part of living. That is what I want in Gauteng. That is the vision and the aim that we as Gauteng Netball have it for the 2023.
And Dumisani, how big a deal is it, having been there, done that, to finally see something of this magnitude? And now you're going to be on the other side of the fence. And also the other side of the fence is that you're hosting it as an African.
Well, that's a lot of other sides of the fences, Leo, but thank you so much for the question. Well, it's already President Netball South Africa, Ms. Cecilia Molokwane, President Gauteng Netball, Ms. Rihanna Bezetenot, have already alluded to the magnitude of what is about to hit our shores. I mean, I'm sitting in my office, I'm looking at the calendar. In July this year, we will be 24 months away from that World Cup. So me, myself, as a coach, as half an administrator on the other side as well, it's going to be something that Africa will never forget. I mean, that young girl sitting at home in a small township of Khayelitsha or in Elanga in Cape Town, for the first time will get to witness a World Cup being played, a Netball World Cup being played right here on African soil. So the possibilities and the encouragement for that young girl to watch TV, to watch the netball girls playing netball on TV on African soil, for her to dream that one day that will become her, that is what I would love to see. That is my take on World Cup 2023, that it will create such a huge interest in those young girls sitting down there, looking up to a China, looking up to a Lenise, looking up to a Bongi, to say, listen, these people have become superstars. They're playing on TV. They even played the World Cup right here at home. I can also do that. And not necessarily just players. I mean, you can look at administrators. You can look at coaching. I mean, coaches can look, or like an aspiring coach down in a township, in a village somewhere, can look at me and say, well, if she could make it coming from a small township, so can I. So it's a representation of the possibilities, the limitless possibilities that this World Cup will represent for us as South Africa and as Africans as a whole.
And jump in there, China, because you are representing the players in today's symposium. How excited are you guys with regards to the Netball World Cup being hosted on the African continent? Thank goodness you're not traveling, you're not acclimatizing, you know the conditions here at home. What impact does it have while you're preparing yourselves as players towards the World Cup?
I mean, as a player, I think we can all say that we also excited, but besides excited, we're also overwhelmed by all the possibilities and all the possibilities that have been opened up to us. I mean, if we don't have to travel and we already have hometown advantage, I mean, we have to use that with grab it with both our hands and make sure that we actually deliver all the goods that needs to be delivered. But besides that, I think as a player, we just want to change the perception of netball, that it's not just a a fun activity to do or for the love of the game. It's more of, this can be a career. This can be a great stepping stone for longevity, not just for high school or grassroots level to varsity, but this can be a proper earning career for any woman. I mean, in the economy we are in South Africa, we're always looking for ways to create job opportunities, and this is a phenomenal way to do it. So I think that's what the World Cup brings to us as players, is that the perception of not just being girls running around in short skirts, but being professional athletes and being able to pass on the baton to the next generation.
Oh, you've also touched on so many things. It is a career. It needs to be financially rewarding, but you've also touched on it being professional. We'll get into that a bit later with both Rihanna and Cecilia, but let's talk about the state of readiness for South Africa. Yes, it will not be hosted in the entire country, but what is the state of readiness for the whole country to open our arms and welcome the World Cup 2023? Just looking at the numbers, Cecilia, the likes in England, it was well welcomed. They broke records in terms of attendance. In Australia, records were broken in terms of attendance. Almost 100,000 people at some point. It is incredible numbers. So what is the state of readiness from Team South Africa in assisting you as Netball South Africa in welcoming the world?
Wow. I can say to you, the country is ready. We had several steering committee meetings with different departments, starting with the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture in the country and all other departments. Remember, when you host the World Cup, it's no longer about netball anymore. Yeah. Netball are just a host, but it's the country's pride and the country's event that everybody in the country should be, part of that. And you know that when we hosted the 2010, because we're moving too much towards what happened in 2010, how can we do it better? What happened in 2019, how do we better it? Look, we are not competing with England, but we're saying how best can we do it as South Africans to make it an African, Netball World Cup and all Africans will be proud of. So we've got different departments that when you look at the bid document that we submitted, we've got the Interministerial Committee, which obviously it says all the different ministries that are going to be part of the World Cup. Like, let me give example. On the top now, it will be your health department because of what is going on. On the top, it was not on the top, but it is. This COVID thing has changed the whole thing. Yeah. So on the top now is going to be the Department of Health, and then you get your Department of Home Affairs. Because of people are coming in for visas and whatever to waive visas and all those kind of things. You get SAPS security. You need security when people are coming into your country. You need to understand what is going on. You get your some transport, because people are going to move around. So the Department of Transport has to be there. So those are some of the key departments that we cannot do without. And doing all these things, we have to know that it's not only netball that is doing this. The city of Cape Town, they're the host city. So without them and without the buy-in of the council, remember in a municipality we work with councils. Without the buy-in of the council and the council saying that we will waive some of the things, we'll carry some of the things, you are not going to get it. So to me, it's one thing that Rihanna likes to say, make friends with people that very important to you. So we've made friends with these departments and we have made sure that they understand us, they want to know what we're doing and they see the vision that we see and how we help each other and make this a South African World Cup. So we also said, why should it be a South African thing? Because the look and feel of this World Cup, whether I'm in Limpopo where I am right now, Rihanna is in Gauteng, they're in Gauteng, the three of them, where they are. Somebody's in Eastern Cape, in KZN, in Northern Cape, in Free State, in Mpumalanga. They must all feel the same thing, that those people that are in Cape Town are feeling it. If it's a fan park, it should be the very same fan park all over the country. That you shouldn't say, oh, but the Gauteng one was better than Limpopo one. No, it should all be the same. So this is a collaboration of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and we must all bear in mind, this is not a Netball South Africa event. The custodians of the World Cup, it's INF. So that's one thing that people miss to understand, that the custodians, it's INF. We are just the host country, and Cape Town is the host city. So whatever INF wants us to do, we will follow what INF wants us to do. Even though, Lebu, you know me, being there at INF and being a board member, I'll want it to go the South African way and make it a South African way, even though it doesn't go well with some of the board members. To me, it will never go well with them. However, it's what I think I am there for, to protect the World Cup from the world and to make sure that it becomes one of the most memorable World Cup that you can ever have. So we want you media inside. You know, there is no way that we're going to do this and make sure that it's known all over the country without you guys. You are the people, actually, Lebu, that should make the 2023 netball. We can shout. I mean, I've started by saying taking netball back to the people. And I came back and I say, hashtag making netball fashionable. And I can take it back to the people. Rihanna cannot take it back to the people. Dumisani cannot do that. Tina cannot do that without your support. We cannot make it fashionable without your support. So your media, you know, and the corporate world in coming in with sponsors to make sure that whatever we're trying to achieve, because for Rihanna to go out in Gauteng to get what she wants, she cannot just do it out of nothing. The pockets have to be filled. The pockets have to be full. So the Department of Sports in Gauteng should understand what is Rihanna's plan, the legacy program that we have put there, and then fund that plan. I think it's not much to ask, as I said, and at the MINMEC, that it's not much to ask in the last 2 years, you know, to put netball first before any other sporting code, so as we can host the best Netball World Cup in the coming 2 years.
All right, ladies, we don't have too much time, but I'd like to get a little bit more meat in this because Gauteng is also involved. Rihanna, you're also there. We know that the under 21 currently in Cape Town, you have some Babas in that team. So obviously it might not be hosted by Gauteng, but you still have a lot to say when it comes to the setup of the national team and the players thereof. So tell me then how you think the World Cup will profit Gauteng as a province.
We were talking, and the Madam President were talking about the state of readiness, and obviously for me, the state of readiness for Gauteng province. That's the key thing, and that is what we were signed up to do 2 years ago. And what I say, and maybe this is the point that I can have some bragging rights, Lebu. Just recently, 6 of the baby Proteas, baby Spa Protea team members are from Gauteng. You know, that's consistency, that's 50%. 6 of the players that was in the Spa Protea teams came from Gauteng. That's consistency. That is what we're striving through. If we take it back a tire, the Jaguars performance, 4 years in a row, consistency. This year we were blessed. We got another medal. We got a bronze medal. I mean, come on, this is development. This is going progress. This year I can tell you now, and the players are there, we will take gold and silver. This is what's on the table. If we take it a tire down and we look at the national champs and how the teams within Gauteng perform, absolutely consistently. So it means that there is a development plan. We still need a lot of work. I cannot tell you now here sitting and say we've ticked all the boxes. No way. We still have so much to do, but we have the potential to do it. We have the systems to do it. We have the support to do it. And you know what? It needs to become a priority and a passion. You know, this passion that you hear from me and that you hear from our teams within Gauteng, it needs to become a general passion, working to one goal and making this World Cup for South Africa a legacy and memorable.
Dumisani and China, also jump in there because I also want to find out about the broadcasting of the TNL and netball in totality. How has the impact been from yourself as a coach, Dumisani, and yourself as a player, China? What is the impact of seeing your performance be seen by the entire country?
Thank you, Lebu. It's one of those positives that we can only expand on through partnerships with the media, partnership with broadcast, especially when we're gonna talk TV. I think, yes, we can celebrate that we are getting netball action out there on the screens. We are getting a lot of viewers watching netball, and that then brings it, brings the netball closer to the people. Since we're taking netball back to the people, it's bringing it closer. It's bringing it right into their living rooms. But I think from my side, not to get too technical, is maybe our public broadcaster can come into play here and assist, because not everyone has access to a DTV. Not everyone can afford the prices that is required, or the price premiums that someone has to pay to be able to watch netball on paid TV. But yeah, be that as it may, having netball on TV has been great for our girls. Our girls have been profiled. They have received endorsement deals through them being seen on TV. Some of them have even received or have been scouted to go and play netball overseas, which is every netball player's dream, to play netball on a full-time basis. So yeah, the impact has been great. It's been positive. We would like to see netball being talked about, be written about, being broadcast, even when it's not during netball season. I mean, how many times have you seen the Springboks final match being played?
Okay, let's leave. I know where you're going with that one. Let's leave it there. China, your thoughts on seeing the games being broadcast live on television and the impact it's had on your performance and some of the performance from the ladies?
From our end as players, I think it's made us little mini celebrities. So it's like lights, camera, action, which is great for the youngsters out there to see and know who we are and what we do. And basically, the broadcasters are doing a great job. It's just made us become more professional in how we take court and how we handle ourselves on and off court. So bringing the professional aspect into that, I think it's made us grow not only on court and our play and the demands of people are watching, so you need to give more than your best foot forward. So it makes you work harder. But off court, it's also your behavior, how you're eating, what you need to do to look good on TV. So it's a lot of aspects that it's brought to us as players to become so professional and so aware of what's happening around us, that we are what the little kids are looking up to and how they're going to end up being when they are in our positions. So for us, broadcasters have made us, as I say, mini superstars. Until the World Cup, will be superstars. But till then, we are so grateful for the platform they've given us, and taking netball back to the people, not only on TV, but also on our own social media, on Instagram. I think the little snippets we send out, we also have a part to play in that, and having that social platform makes it so much easier and a great win for netball.
All right, and as we wrap things up, a legacy is important to build from when it comes to the World Cup, but there needs to be a story and a thread that ties this conversation up to post-World Cup in perhaps 2024. What legacy would that be, Cecilia?
You know, the legacy program that we have put in, and the most important legacy that I think we want all of us as netball people, is we should say that when we were about to host the 2023 Netball World Cup, Netball South Africa turned professional. That will be a legacy that we would want to see. And Netball South Africa has its own SS Netball channel. That is a legacy that we want to see.
How far from that professional league, if I may jump in there, how far are we? We
are, let me not talk and excite Tina, but Dumi knows a bit of the story. Dumi knows a bit of the story, but let me not talk and excite Tina. But we are on the doorstep of making netball professional, because that has been our dream and we wanted to achieve it. And with the likes of the support that we have from people like Rihanna and Dumi being on our neck constantly, you know, saying that, President, we need this. Tina is West. Every time Tina calls me, it's about, President, when am I turning professional? And I'm like, Tina, you are a professional in your career. Says, you see, you said it correct. In my career, I want to be professional in my sport. So we are on the doorstep of turning netball professional. We are on the finalization of the big things that we need to do as Netball South Africa, and we are humbled by whoever is helping us and doing this to become professional, because we really, because Tina, let's tell the truth, and you'll agree with me. If we are not professional, you guys won't perform at the World Cup.
Absolutely.
You will be performing against, you'll be competing against countries that are professional, and we are not professional. So we wouldn't be saying to the coaches, give us a medal when they are not professional. So the legacy will believe it's every province will have its own sprang floor. Something that, it was never thought about, but yes, we're still talking to government to say a sprang floor should have a facility. So in that facility, we still, I'm still rubbing shoulders with other people that I have to rub shoulders with to make sure that those facilities becomes a reality. So it's Rihanna, when she wants to play netball, she doesn't say Tex is booked. Or Dumisani doesn't say TUT, it's booked. We know that this is a netball home because we thought in this thing that we must also have a netball home. Lebu, there's no netball home. Netball doesn't have a home. And that is something that is paining me as a leader to say, for so many years, for 25 years now, that we have been in democracy and we don't even have a home. If we can have those three legacy, having a home for netball, turning netball professional, and lastly, having an all netball channel that Dumisani says that you can play the finals of TNL, I don't know how many times on our channel. That will be the legacy that will be leaving. So as even a child that cannot access anything knows that 2023 left this for us, but we can do this, not only Cecilia, all of us together.
All right, I know we have to wrap it up, but I also want to find out from yourself, Rihanna, what else can we do to ensure that women in South Africa, netball in South Africa continues to thrive? You said you're thriving from Gauteng's perspective. Let's put that energy throughout the entire country.
Oh, definitely. Lebu, thank you. Yes, let's start building the dreams. Gauteng Netball, together with Gauteng Schools Netball, took hands with a project that we are rolling out netball now to 280 primary schools that's never seen netball before. Within the next 6 months, they will have courts, they will have netball as a subject in class. The Gauteng netball structure will assist them with the development of coaches and umpires. And, this is the type of legacy that we want to end with 2023, or we enter 2023, the grassroots building of dreams. That young child becomes a student, the 18 to 25. It becomes the young lady. And obviously ending up where the 34, 35 years still have a club structure where they can play professional netball. Bringing it back right down and building dreams. This is exactly it. You're never too old to dream. That is it. The younger we start the netball dream, the more successful and the more passionate we have.
All right, Dumisani, I want you to let me know on this one, because you've been a player, you say now it's administration and now you coach, but when you compare TNL with other overseas leagues, how would you compare them?
I don't think there's a comparison. We can't be fair on that level.
Yeah.
We can't be fair. I think simply because the level, the standard, the establishment, how far they've been professional or how long they've been professional as compared to what we've been running on a semi-pro league. I don't think it would be a fair comparison. But one thing I would like to say is that the strides and the steps that Netball South Africa has been taking over the years in improving what has been happening is something that can be applauded, because that just shows progress. It shows that there are steps that are being taken. There are processes, there is progress, and you can see the dream that Netball South Africa does have for netball in the country, and for that we can applaud them. Comparing, I don't think that's fair.
All right, so I hear you there, but we are happy that netball is on the doorstep of turning pro. China, you'll be happy to know that you are within the age of the time when Netball South Africa has decided that you guys are turning pro, and you might be pro come the World Cup. How does it make you feel?
It's like music to my ears. I think I'm so grateful to still be able to play the sport that I love. But I think for any other player out there, it will just be like a dream come true. As Daniri says, you're never too old to dream, nor too young to start dreaming. So I think for us, it will just be such a phenomenal dream come true if we become professional just before World Cup or right now.
Or right now. Dumisani, let's talk about the overseas players. What is the impact of having our South African ladies playing in overseas leagues for Netball South Africa? As a former player, especially yourself, and as a now coach, and what they bring back into the national setup?
The value that the international experience that they get playing in those professional leagues overseas is immeasurable. You cannot put a price tag to it, because one thing that happens is they are functioning in a full-time, fully professional setup where day in and day out, all they do is netball. So their job is netball. When I wake up and come to the office, they wake up and they go to a gym, or they wake up and go to a netball court. That's number one. Number two, on an everyday basis, they are playing they're playing, number one, on a high intensity level. Number two, they are playing against international top stars, which means day in, day out, they are being pushed to their max, and they're able to bring that experience back to our shows and share with the rest of the girls here at home. So it's about them going out there, expanding themselves, coming back, plowing back into the system that we have, into the players in the country, to help them grow, help them expand their views, and help them become better players, and hopefully one day as well get international contractors, as we've just recently seen with Lafevre, who just got a contract to go out to England as well. So it's something that you can't really put a price tag on.
And Rihanna, I suppose the impact of having the international series is just as significant for our South African ladies.
Oh yes, look, we are very grateful for the Telkom Netball League. It gives us exposure. Although it gives us 2 weeks of exposure, we would like 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, we semi-professional for 2 to 3 weeks, and we do it well. The talent comes through, and it's great. We needed 8 to 10 weeks. We needed somebody to take ownership of these players. Yeah, definitely. And we see the players. We see Lenise. We see Shadeen. Because when they come back, they train on your courts. But you know what? They don't only train, they bring back what they learned to the players around them. They share, which once again has got such a valuable impact on, like I said, the opportunities out there. But you know what? We want to be that country where Africa dreams of coming to play netball. South Africa must be that opportunity where that youngster from Uganda can come and do a professional league with us, like our girls does it overseas. That is one of the things that I'm really very passionate about. And I think when we start a professional league, that is the opportunities as well.
That would be amazing. Imagine the African countries saying that they want to play in the South African league, Cecilia. That would really, really be fantastic. But let's also take it a little bit further down to the school sports and the universities. Varsity sports is really massive. What role does that play with regards to netball and the growth it's had within Netball South Africa, Cecilia?
Having schools being our associate member and having universities, USA, being our associate member, to me, it's a blessing in disguise. You know, when we talk development, truly speaking, we talk in schools. You cannot talk development and don't include schools inside. So if you do that, it means we are laying a wrong foundation. So where the right foundation is laid is at schools. Hence, most of the time when I talk, I say we should have the best coaches at schools, because that's where it starts. Because if we have the best coaches at university, not at schools, it might give those coaches at university a bit of a tough time in making sure that those girls fit in properly when they're supposed to. So I think we should start, we have started engaging with schools and having a very good relationship with schools. And I know Gauteng also have a very good relationship with their schools in Gauteng. So working together with schools and making sure that we work towards one goal. Remember, the goal here is about a girl child who wants to see herself wearing the Spa Protea badge on her heart. So to me, we must make sure that we make that dream come true by preparing them well in advance when they start there at the grassroots level. Because if they don't start correct and I don't have the correct techniques from down there, they'll never have it as it goes up. It's not everybody. I always say this. it's not everybody who is Phumza Maweni, who you'll get at a late age and still blossom the way she did. Some, you know, they mature as wine, you know, and some they just mature as young as they are. I can give you an example of Ntabiseng Mwabi, the former player, who got into the team when she was 19. And she struggled a bit in getting into a team. Now we've got Kamukelo Maseko, who is young and who's coming into the team. So we need to know that when Kamukelo comes in, whatever the deep end we put her in, she's there. So the universities are there to also, because they are at high performance level. So they are there to make us close that gap that we don't actually have as Netball South Africa. We cannot lie and say we have that high performance structure that is fully functional and that is doing this. We don't have it. And if we don't talk about it, that we don't have it, and hide things that are true, we are not going to achieve what we want to achieve. So the universities are playing a vital role in this thing of high performance when it comes to players and preparing the players. That's why when you see, when it comes to TNL, teams that perform well are the teams that have high performance in their universities and have university players in their teams in the TNL. So how we wish that all this high performance of universities can be even at the University of Mpumalanga, can be at the University of Limpopo, you know, can be at the University of Northern Cape, you know, they can be everywhere in the country, that we have the same standard. Because I know Rihanna also on her cap leading USA, you know, it's a question of what can USA do to develop netball and make it better in universities that are not at high performance. So schools, universities play a vital role. And to me, I'll also challenge, you know, associate members like SANDF and SAPS. I mean, when you look at other countries in the world, their best players are from those two departments. SAPS and SANDF, we don't have such. And I'll challenge them to say, why don't we have them? Because they have got the resources, more than all of us who are sitting here. They've got the resources to prepare those players and make them the best of the best. So we must look beyond other things and think. I always say to people, I'm told to think out of the box, even though in Lebu, I always look for that box. I never get it, but we have to think out of that box and say, what can we do to make sure that as a country, we move forward and become the best of the best. And I would like to say thank you to schools for the cooperation, and thank you to universities also for cooperation, because we are so much good at criticizing, but we are not saying thank you to the good that people are doing. So we want to thank the universities. We want to thank the schools for producing the players that we have, because they play a major role in making us shine as Netball South Africa.
Sure, that sounds like a beautiful note to close our conversation on. But before we do, I'd like to get final thoughts on goals, objectives from yourself, Dumisani, for the World Cup. You are the assistant coach of the Proteas. Objectives for the World Cup. It is no longer that far ahead. When you started the conversation, you were looking at your calendar saying it says 24 months from June that we are knocking on the door of the World Cup. Objectives, that means you're already starting to plan now. What are the objectives? I know they are there.
Well, level. Wouldn't you like to know? But I'll tell you. So we do know that the Spar Proteas in 2019 managed to get to the semi-finals and narrowly lost that bronze medal to England. But 2023 is here, it's on home soil. Obviously, we would like a podium finish. That would be an improvement on our 2019 finish. So once you get to the podium, the color of the medal is determined between the 4 lines.
What are you saying, Cecilia? Jump in there, what?
The color of the medal is gold. We're hosting. We're hosting. It cannot be any other thing determined by the 4 lines. No ways. It's not going to be determined by the 4 lines. It's gold. It's gold, Domi. It's gold, Tina. It's gold.
Sheila, are you listening?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Lebu, all I can say, those two ladies, Dumi and China, a clear message. Don't forget your roots. You're coming from the home of champions. It's gold, Dumi. China, it's gold. Come on, don't forget your roots ever.
All right, I think
in marketing terms, you under promise and you over deliver.
I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Ladies, it's been an exciting conversation. Gold it is from the home of champions. Thank you so much, Cecilia, Rihanna, Dumi, and China. What an excellent conversation. I will remember this one come 2023. I will be one of the thousands of fans that hopefully would have made my way to Cape Town to come and watch the netball live, not on our screens. I want to be part of the fan part. Please, Cecilia, make them exciting, right?
It's a definite that one. You know, when it comes to us netballers, you know us. We are exciting. Everything about us is excitement, nothing else.
All right, let's continue this conversation with hashtag Make Netball Fashionable. Thank you so much, ladies. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again to Sports Sense for making this possible, the Gauteng Department of Sport, Art, Culture and Recreation, and most importantly, you, the panelists, for giving us your time, your expertise, your knowledge, your passion, and your love for the game that is netball. We'll see you guys hopefully in the near future. Goodbye.